Now, I want to ask you, Prime Minister Modi has responded very warmly to Donald Trump's praise of him, and at the same time saying that he deeply appreciates his assessment of India-US ties. So as somebody, who's had a ringside view of foreign policy and how diplomacy works, how do you read this statement?
I think it's a very important opening because President Trump has himself given us this leeway, because I haven't seen him making this sort of, climb down statements with reference to any other country, on whom he has imposed those tariffs. So I think in case of India, this statement is very, very important. And I'm happy that Prime Minister Modi has immediately responded and he has reciprocated the warmth in his statement. And I think it sets the stage for two of them to meet somewhere.
Right, Ambassador. I want to understand, do you think because 50% tariffs still remain in place, do you think we could also see some changes on that front after these statements coming in from the leader?
Yes, because some of the things that President Trump is talking, like, for instance, India's purchase of the Russian oil, there has already been a decrease in the volume of oil or the amount of oil that we have been buying from Russia for some time because of market forces. So it's not that our purchase of Russian oil has remained constant and so on. And I think they are willing to sit down with the United States and discuss all these things in a calm and quiet manner, in a diplomatic manner, and sort of convey our concerns to them and understand their concerns and work out something which is mutually acceptable.
Right. Master, I want to ask you, Prime Minister Modi breaking his strategic silence only after Donald Trump took a conciliatory tone, not speaking when there were attacks by Trump and his aides. Do you think this is a validation of the way we've been carrying out a foreign policy?
Yes, in a certain way, yes, because it shows that, all this blackmail and all these threats and these things don't work with India, and India is always willing to sit down and willing to discuss any mutual differences or any mutual concerns. And that is what we have been saying from the beginning, that we had hoped that the American trade team would come on 25 August gone, and we would sit down with them and work out a solution.
Exactly,
I mean, we can't sort of do everything that the United States want. Then we can do many things and they can do some things and we can work out an agreement.
Right. I want to ask a question on that front. Economic ties between the two countries, they form a pivotal part of the ties, of the broader ties, in fact. So on that front, trade negotiations which have been going on, of course, India is not going to budge on the farmers issue, on the issue of dairymen as well. So how do you think the negotiations will now go forward?
Well, I think it will be nice if a meeting can take place between President Trump and Prime Minister Modi, because that will change the atmosphere. That will set a new tone. That will set a new dynamics for the relationship. And a lot of misunderstandings and concerns will be resolved when they meet together. And then simultaneously, there can be talks at either ministerial level or officials level and trade teams level and so on. So I think we need to sit down and talk to each other. We have to keep in mind the personality and character and the way President Trump functions. He is not a usual American president. He is very different. So we have to keep that in mind and then try to work out these things, because United States is our most consequential relationship, you know. So we have to
Right.
make sure that this relationship remains good.
Right, an important partnership, an important relationship at this point for India as well. So you said, a direct relationship or direct meeting between the two leaders could be the way out. But how do you propose and how do you see that happening? Prime Minister Modi is not traveling to the US for UNGA session. Also, we have reports saying that President Trump may not travel to India for the Quad summit. So then how do you see that direct meeting happening?
Well, these things can all be reconsidered. These are not decisions written on stone. I mean, these things can be reconsidered if President Trump invites Prime Minister Modi for a meeting. or then Prime Minister Modi can consider going to the United States both to attend the UNGA as well as for the meeting.
Right, sir. And also, sir, tariffs is not the only front where, US has been taking an anti-India stand. We've also seen a lot of political rhetoric heating up around visas as well. Student visas are getting rejected. So do you think we could also see some changes on that front now?
Oh, yes, tariff is just one issue. Our
Right.
relationship with the United States is very broad. There are a lot of people to people exchanges, elements, the visas, green cards, the large Indian community which is based there. Then we have a lot of business relationships, so many Indian companies working in the different sectors of America, so many American companies working in India, Apple and so many others. And this relationship is very, very important. And given this opening, I think we should make use of this opening on both sides to reset this relationship, to have a meeting at the highest level and then work through the various differences, explain our points of view, and work out a solution. That is what diplomacy is about.